attached.
And they can come back.
We are talking Alien Convergence, which is directed by Rob Palatina. Now, this one is a movie from the Asylum. Asylum, if you don't know, is a company in America that makes very low budget, what they call mockbusters, which essentially titles that are designed to kind of cash in on kind of popular mainstream movies. You know, we had Transformers, so the Asylum will put out Transmorphers. And obviously here we have Alien Convergent, which is obviously meant to go with a certain Alien franchise, I would imagine, but here we are. And this is nothing like the Alien movies, to be honest with you. It kind of is in name only similar. The plot here focuses on this kind of group of kind of scientists that are all kind of made up of ex-veterans who work for DARPA, who are kind of producing this these kind of aircraft that can be flown purely with the power of thought. However, this is at the same time we have 3 meteorites that crash down onto Earth in America, and they contain these kind of like these aliens that are basically kind of dragons, essentially. And it's up to this kind of group of scientists and vets to kind of come together, obviously see if they can kind of get over personal differences and etc. and kind of obviously defeat the alien menace. So let's talk Alien Convergence. So, as with all Asylum films, budget here is on the lower side, so don't be expecting high production values. But I do have to say, I think this does have a few things in its favour. First of all, I think the design of the creatures themselves are quite cool. They kind of look like demonic dragons. I mean, they don't really look like aliens at all, if I'm completely honest, and they kind of grow inexplicably in size, but I still kind of liked the actual design. I maybe would have preferred them to see them in a fantasy film, if I'm honest. I'm wondering if they've kind of just taken the models of another movie, so they probably have it in a fantasy film, but nonetheless, I kind of like the design. I thought they looked kind of quite cool. They almost look like huge gargoyles, so I kind of found that kind of fun. And I have to say, there are a couple of fairly neat low-budget kind of action sequences, obviously CGI sequences, with these kind of fighter jets fighting these kind of dragons. Yeah, they're not anything spectacular, don't get me wrong, but for a kind of an Asylum, you know, sci-fi movie type thing, they're not too bad. I didn't think the acting was too bad for an Asylum movie either. I thought the kind of the father figure, who is this kind of guy in a wheelchair, is actually quite a fun character, and his kind of relationship with his daughter is quite good. And the acting's, you know, isn't so bad. But as with all Asylum films, this really just follows the tried and tested formula. There's nothing new here. We have a few kind of like effects shots in the beginning of the movie. Then we have obviously the climax, or the kind of where they kind of spend the money on the special effects. But kind of the 80% of the movie, which is in between that, all takes place in the desert or in offices. So there's really not a lot of kind of like sets or location shooting. It's all very much very kind of cheaply shot. And the majority of this movie is literally kind of people talking and monologuing when they're kind of training for flying and stuff like that. So the vast bulk of this movie simply isn't very interesting, and the stuff that you know may be of interest when you look at the cover, like I said, it's really just the kind of the top and tail of the movie, and even then it's kind of low budget and kind of stupid, because let's be honest, these don't look like aliens whatsoever. There's no real rhyme or reason why they've sort of turned up. I mean, one quite unique thing that this film has, it kind of our group of heroes are all disabled veterans. They're basically, you know, some of them are in a wheelchair, one of them's got the jitters, one of them's missing a handle that's clearly just up his sleeve. Quite amusing. And so that kind of makes it a little bit of a point difference. But this movie doesn't really break any new ground. It really does kind of like just tread the same kind of like static formula that you've seen trotted out in variety of kind of like Asylum films, you know, made for TV, sci-fi movies and that kind of stuff. It really just follows the same formula. You can guess what's going to happen. There's absolutely no surprises. And when it's all said and done, I guess it's okay for like an alien film for maybe younger audiences and kind of people who don't require too much. But the problem is the main bulk of the film in the middle is kind of boring, if we're completely honest. So overall, I would say it's not the worst Asylum film that I've seen, but it's not very interesting, to be honest. So I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.